there, everybody. My name is Heather Flack, and I am the business leader of Flair Accounting. I grew up in a very small little town called Flair in the Vaal Triangle up in Gauteng. And when I matriculated in 1997, I was actually offered a bursary to go and study any form of art that I wanted to, because I majored in art and finance. And when I turned that bursary down to go and pay for an accounting degree, everybody thought I had lost the plot. I grew up in a middle-class income family, and we always knew that if we wanted to study further, we would need to get a bursary or pay for it ourselves. But I was very blessed to have already back then the wisdom to know myself really well. Art is a passion of mine, and I knew if I made it a career, my passion would die. And I really enjoyed the structure of accounting. It's not a subjective field. It's got very clear parameters. And so that's what I did. I, straight from school, started my articles. I worked in the day, I studied at night, Potch Varsity. And after working in practice for a few years, I realized that the traditional accounting model was never going to be for me. Most accountants might get angry if I say that my experience has been a lot of accountants want to do as little as possible and charge as much as possible and want to get as far away from a client as possible. And my heart was always in a space to really help business owners in the full sense of what finance can give a business owner, not just their tax structure. So after working in practice, I decided to leave practice and join an internal company in Durban, which I did. I moved here in 1999. And after working for that company for 3 years, I started Flair Accounting on my 23rd birthday. And 21 years later, we're still here. I am currently and have been the leader of Flair Accounting for the last 21 years. We are an accounting practice that's based in Morningside in Durban, and I am very, very blessed and privileged to lead the wonderful team that I lead. So when it comes to what is my purpose, what is Flair's purpose, we have always said that we want to change the world one business at a time, because life is ultimately about people. It's not about numbers, it's not about titles, it's not about accolades, it's about people. And even when it comes to finance, finance has an amazing ability to empower people to make decisions, to change their businesses, to affect the economy, to affect the country. So our mission statement is actually to be the most loved accounting practice in Durban. We don't need to be the most successful or the most recognized, but we want the people to work here to love working here. And we want the family of businesses and clients that we serve to love working with us, because ultimately relationship is what empowers us to make that difference, to make a real difference in businesses' lives. I would say the accomplishment that makes me the most proud is not just surviving for 21 years, but for thriving for 21 years. I remember on my 23rd birthday sitting there and somebody saying, Heather, if you can just make it through your first 3 years. And so to really sit here and look back at the journey of the last 21 years, I really can say that is the thing I'm the most proud of. I'm the most proud of the people who have worked with us, who have gone on to huge companies like Unilever and Rivco and the PKFs of the world. I'm proud of the fact that when I phone an employment agency because I'm looking for more staff, that I get told, oh, other companies say if I see your staff, I must send them through. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the legacy that we've built. I'm proud that people know what we stand for and know what our culture is, know who we are and know what we're about. And I'm very, very proud of this legacy that's developed that I never was not my intention when I started, but it has been the byproduct of the last 21 years, is a phenomenal, well-loved legacy. And that means a lot to me. So the best advice I ever received from anybody was actually from the first client that I took on when I started my business, and his name was George Ross. He was a business owner in Pound Town. And he sat with me after a few months, and I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, "Heather, remember always that the definition of a leader is somebody that people willingly follow." And that changed my whole approach to engaging with staff, with clients, with all the stakeholders that came across my way, is that if you are not a leader that people will willingly follow, you're just a dictator. So you can be a boss or you can be a leader. And that really influenced my entire company culture. It influenced how I interact with every single person in my life, because it had such a huge impact on me. That one statement, it changed everything for me when it came to the sphere of leadership. So I would say there were two serious challenges I think I faced in business. The one I've managed to resolve by getting older, because the first challenge I faced was I was 23 when I started. So to get anybody to have confidence that I had the ability to do what I said I was going to do was actually quite hard. And it took many years, sometimes even offering to do the work for free. And if the client was happy afterwards, they could pay me. But I did that, and it worked. I once actually had a client who I went to go and see him. I walked in and he said, "You can't do this job, you're too young," and literally wanted to chase me out of his office. And I sat and convinced him, "Let me do the job. If you're not happy, you don't have to pay me." And at the end of the job, when I gave him my invoice, he paid me double. So that was the first challenge, was overcoming my age and in getting people to have faith in me that I could do what I said I was going to do. And the second challenge, which took a little bit longer to resolve, also with age, I hope got resolved, and that was realizing that when it comes to hiring people to join my family of this practice, to find the right people. I think a lot of people hire anybody, but you can't hire anybody, you've got to hire the right body. And that was a second challenge that I really struggled with for quite a few years. And how I overcame that was getting very clear on my hiring process. So we have a very detailed hiring process where I will know who you are before you come and work for me. Because who you are, I can't change. What you know, I can change. I can teach you and you can learn. But who you are, I can't change. So that was the second challenge, and I really am very proud of our hiring process and how we go about finding those right people, not just any people. Okay, so businesses will always encounter obstacles. Employment forces, workforces will always have conflicts. And the biggest way to resolve that is to get very, very clear about what your culture is. And that changed everything for me. When I got clear about who Flair was as a practice, what our culture was as a practice, that really influenced a lot on how you approach obstacles, on how you approach conflict. And culture changed everything for me. And then I would also say the way you keep a team motivated is to live your why. I think a lot of businesses have very lovely sounding mission statements, but not all of them live it. And there's a wonderful book by Simon Sinek called Leaders Eat Last. And that I'd like to think we really model here, so that when the times are tough and there's tough deadline and everyone's got to work a little bit extra, I'll be the first one working late. I will be the first one to join the team and to do the hard yards. And I have always found in those toughest times, when I climb in the trenches with the staff, there's nothing that we can't achieve. We always achieve our goal, because if you jump in the trenches with your people, they'll go anywhere with you. People who are not afraid to stand up for what they believe in, who work ethically, those people motivate, inspire me. And a particular lady called Tuli Maronzela is somebody who I've actually followed a lot over my life, because in a very male-dominated world and in a very difficult environment, she had the strength of her conviction when the whole world was saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't be the brave one, don't go out on the limb, don't take that chance. And she did. She always has. And I remember reading an article about her where she was described as the keeper of the nation's ethics. And I thought, what a wonderful way to be described by somebody as the keeper of the nation's ethics. So those people I come across who are the keeper of their ethics, of their moral ethics, who want to do the right thing, not because they have to, but because it's the right thing. And that has always been a wonderful affirmation for me. So my vision for my business in the next 5 to 10 years is we need to grow. We've grown exponentially over the last years, and I'd like to see that growth continue, because with the growth continuing, we are employing more people, the culture is being reinforced through and through, and we are serving companies. And those companies are doing well, they are thriving, they are succeeding, because I truly believe that a lot of South Africans will look to government or to policy or to some other greater thing to say it's up to them to save South Africa. And I've always believed that the only thing that will improve our country's standing and improve the quality of life for our country is employment. And everyone talks about employment in this big concept term. But if you come down to the granularity of employment, it's successful businesses who are proactively able to pivot, to change, to innovate, and to move with the times. And those are the businesses that grow, that employ more people, start new businesses, buy other businesses. And I really want to carry on that tune. We're going to keep serving businesses. And I would say for Flair itself, the next 10 years, I would like to see partners come on board. I would like to see us grow and people share in a bit of ownership in what this looks like, so that this legacy that I happen to create will continue for more generations to come, long after I'm gone. Because the wonderful thing is Flair has become far greater than the individual, that's me. And that's cool. I really like that. What I would also like to see in business in KZN as a province is I would like to see businesses become a little bit more socially responsible. I think those who have the ability to help our communities need to give. I would like to see business leaders leading from the front. I'd like to see business leaders acting morally and ethically and motivating and inspiring people and not dominating and oppressing people. And I think if we can achieve that, that would be a wonderful place for KZN to be. The motto that I live by is a very easy one, and it is what our entire company culture is entrenched in, and that is life is about people. Simple. And no matter what perspective or point of view you want to discuss with me, I will always come back to, even accountants, life's not about numbers. Our numbers influence people. people do something with numbers. People create numbers. People use numbers. So if we can all just remember that if we take titles and cars and houses and status and cell phones and all those things away, all that's left is you and me and human beings with a heart, mind, and soul. So that is my motto, because if we always remember that whether it's a tax return I'm dealing with, or a financial statement, or a forensic audit, or estate planning, I'm not doing it with numbers. I'm doing it with people. So if we can understand the people that we're working with, whether that's our workforce, whether that's our customers, our suppliers, whether it's the receiver revenue, if everyone just remembers that there is a human being on the other end of the phone, it costs nothing to be nice, and we can err on the side of grace. That's my motto.